Our goal, our purpose, was to start thinking about the future of education, the philosophy. Where is education heading? So many of the independent schools are really steeped in the classics of where education has been for a long period of time, but we know that in the 21st century, things are changing rapidly.
We wanted them to be problem solvers. We talk a lot about 21st century skills, and innovation is such an important part of the school, but we didn't have a way to really communicate how to do that. So design thinking gives this toolkit of language to talk about a process that we could take our students or our faculty through. It allows us to communicate with each other about what it is that we're trying to accomplish.
One of the things I really love about design thinking is the fact that it's all about empathy. It all starts with the whole idea of empathy, making those connections with other people, valuing what they have said, and then taking those ideas and really fine-tuning them, experimenting with them, and then trying it again.
You know, bringing something like design thinking or innovation to a school is really about change management and trying to help people change, and that's tricky. So for us to foster it, it really started as a grassroots kind of organic movement, in that we found teachers who seemed like they would be interested in this already or were doing aspects of it already. A big part of it, too, was giving folks permission to try and fail and try again. Sometimes there can be this pressure to make everything perfect and shiny and come off well, and we, as leaders, we really had to make sure that the faculty knew that we wanted them to try, and that sometimes those wouldn't work out, they would fail, and that was okay, and it was actually expected. That's been one of the most successful ways for us to help spur on teachers to use design thinking. It's been to help a teacher who's excited about a project that they've run, show what they did, the thinking behind it, and then the student outcomes. And that alone has sparked so much excitement and kind of propagates so much further than an administrator or a designer or someone else sharing what this could look like, because the teachers instantly relate with that. They know the teacher, they know the students that we're talking about and the difference it can make.
No matter what you do in a school, there are always going to be those people who are the early adapters, and always those people who say, well, you're taking away rigor. But design thinking isn't about rigor, it's about a way of thinking, it's about a way of processing things. If they're seeing it being done, but they're not seeing how it impacts what they're doing, you're not going to get them on board.
We did find that some students who are really successful at the standard kind of school game, I would say, could sometimes struggle a little bit when the project would become a little bit more real world and authentic, because suddenly the rules by which they get an A or deemed a success have changed. And sometimes our parents of those students would have some questions about, well, what's happening here? Because things were going great, and now all of a sudden, things look a little different. And kind of all that really faded away once our parents actually saw the students' projects and the students' work and talked to them and heard the students reflect on their process. And they started to realize, like, oh, this is really important. This is the most important thing, is how my students actually apply the subject, and are they able to apply these skills. And now our parents are champions of it, and I think many of our new parents are drawn to Meadowbrook because of this.
Because we're no longer confined to how we have taught in the past, in isolation, but rather we're talking about collaboration, working together in groups, thinking about the future, thinking about how do we make changes in our curriculum, how do we help children to understand, yep, there's the rigor, but there's experiential education, there's the hands-on education.
But I think it really has become part of the culture of the school. And I think that's what we really wanted when we were looking at design thinking for Meadowbrook, is we wanted it to become a natural, integrated part of the culture of the school and how we look at problems. Sometimes that's really obvious and visible in tangible ways. Other times it's a mindset, and it's a difference in how you approach a problem.